Hey there. Have you ever felt that quiet spark of a dream, that simple, pure desire to create something, to earn something, to reach for a goal? Today we're diving into a story about just that. An 11-year-old black girl in a quiet neighborhood pouring her heart into a homemade lemonade stand. But what started as a sweet summer project quickly turned into something far bigger, something she never saw coming. Get ready for a story about unexpected encounters, the power of breaking stereotypes, and how a little kindness can set off a ripple effect that changes everything. This is The Blossom and the Roar. The late morning sun poured down like warm honey, bathing the quiet, tree-lined streets of Maplewood Creek, a quaint established neighborhood just outside Atlanta, Georgia. The air hummed with the lazy promise of a long summer day. Distant laughter from kids, the faint drone of a lawnmower, the comforting sounds of everyday suburban life. But for Lena Mae Jenkins, her focus was sharper, her purpose clearer than the morning light. Lena, all of 11 years old, stood proudly behind her homemade lemonade stand. Her sign, a vibrant burst of color drawn with her favorite markers, read, "Lena's Sunshine Sips, 75C, a cup," with little hand-drawn lemons and happy suns adorning the edges. The stand itself was set up right outside her family's charming, albeit modest bungalow, a cozy spot with a neatly trimmed lawn and a big ancient oak tree that offered just enough shade. This wasn't just about lemonade, this was her mission. Her goal, to raise exactly $75 for a special class trip to the Georgia Aquarium, a dream she'd meticulously planned for weeks with her mom, Brenda. Every squeezed lemon, every measured spoon of sugar was a step closer to seeing those giant whale sharks glide by. Brenda, a single mother who worked long, demanding hours, watched Lena from the porch swing, a mix of immense pride and a faint, almost imperceptible apprehension in her eyes. She knew Lena's spirit was boundless, her optimism infectious. But Brenda also understood the unspoken complexities of the world they lived in, a world that wasn't always as sunny as Lena's lemonade stand. Lena, however, was in her own bubble of pure enthusiasm, waving eagerly at neighbors passing by. Her first customer, Mrs. Albright from next door, bought 2 cups with a kind smile praising the delicious taste. Coins clinked satisfyingly into Lena's brightly painted tip jar, a tiny symphony of success. Across the street, some local kids played basketball, occasionally glancing over some with genuine curiosity, others with that universal kid-like indifference. Cars rolled slowly by. Some honked in support drivers offering quick, encouraging waves. A few stopped people stepping out smiling, buying a cup or two. But then a handful of vehicles passed by more slowly, their occupants offering long, curious, sometimes even pointed glances at the little black girl and her colorful stand. Nothing overt, nothing directly hostile, but enough to cause a subtle flicker of unease in Brenda's watchful eyes. It was a familiar feeling, this unspoken observation. It's a reality many black children and families navigate every day in certain public spaces, a quiet awareness of being seen differently, of being perceived as an other, even in your own neighborhood. It's an unconscious bias that often goes unnoticed by those who don't experience it, but it's a constant low hum in the background for those who do. It adds an invisible layer of scrutiny to something as innocent as selling lemonade. This wasn't just about selling sugar water. It was about Lena putting herself out there raw and hopeful in a space where, despite the sunshine, she might not always feel entirely seen or safe in the way a white child might. This subtle undercurrent, this quiet apprehension, was the unspoken truth of their daily lives. Lena, in her innocence, felt only the warmth of the sun and the joy of her clinking coins. But Brenda, a few feet away, understood the quiet tension, a tension that was about to escalate not from a simple glance, but from a roar that would shake the very foundations of Maplewood Creek. The sweet dream of the lemonade stand was about to encounter a very different kind of reality. Just as Lena was basking in the golden glow of her early success, meticulously counting her quarters, a low guttural rumble started to fill the air. It wasn't the distant purr of a delivery truck or the familiar drone of a neighbor's lawnmower. This was different. It began as a faint vibration barely perceptible beneath the hum of the summer day, but it quickly grew louder, closer, transforming into a thunderous roar that seemed to shake the very ground beneath Lena's feet. She looked up, shielding her eyes from the sun, her innocent smile faltering. Around the corner they appeared. A group of at least a dozen motorcycles, their chrome glinting aggressively in the sunlight, engines spitting and snarling. Each rider was clad head to toe in heavy black leather jackets, dark helmets, and worn formidable boots. The sheer sound of their engines filled the entire neighborhood, drowning out the birdsong, silencing the chatter of the basketball game across the street. One by one, the bikes rolled to a stop, forming an imposing semicircle directly in front of Lena's lemonade stand. The sudden absolute quiet after their engines cut was almost deafening, a vacuum where the roar had been leaving only the soft clink of ice in Lena's glass pitcher. Lena's heart hammered against her ribs, a primal fear blooming in her chest. This was not her usual customer base of smiling neighbors and friendly delivery drivers. Her hands gripped the edge of her stand, her knuckles white, her eyes wide with apprehension. On the porch, Brenda stood rigid, her earlier apprehension now a palpable tension. This was a universal, almost instinctive fear. The biker stereotype flashed through Lena's mind like a warning sign, rough, rebellious, maybe even dangerous. It was an unspoken judgment, a prejudice ingrained in popular culture. The largest biker, a burly man with a thick salt and pepper beard, swung his leg off his motorcycle with a practiced ease that bespoke power. His jacket was a canvas of patches Lena couldn't read, and his expression was unreadable behind the dark visor of his helmet. He lifted his helmet slowly, revealing a face weathered by sun and time, a network of lines around his kind-looking eyes, but still an air of formidable mystery. Lena held her breath. The man's deep voice rumbled surprisingly soft. "Is this where I can get the best lemonade in town?" That question, so simple yet so loaded, hung in the air. It was a test, a confrontation not of words, but of assumptions. We're all guilty of it, aren't we? Looking at someone, seeing their clothes, their tattoos, their vehicle, and painting an entire story before they even open their mouth. The biker's appearance screamed menace to a mind conditioned by media and stereotypes, yet his words carried an unexpected politeness. This moment, this raw, immediate judgment based purely on outward appearance, is a powerful reminder of how quickly our brains jump to conclusions. It highlights the vast chasm between initial perception and underlying reality. The air felt thick with unspoken judgments, with the weight of expectations. Lena, a little black girl with a lemonade stand, was about to teach a group of intimidating bikers and the entire watching neighborhood a profound lesson about seeing beyond the surface. The stage was set, and the unexpected game of perception was just beginning. Lena swallowed hard, her heart still doing a frantic drum solo against her ribs. "Yes, sir. 75 cents a cup." She managed her voice barely a whisper. The large man, whose presence still felt like a thundercloud, chuckled. It was a deep, rumbling sound, surprisingly warm. He pulled a crumpled dollar from his pocket. "Make it 2, he said. The moment felt frozen in time, suspended between Lena's fear and an unknown outcome. The air was thick with anticipation as the other bikers one by one dismounted. Their heavy boots thudded against the pavement, and Lena noticed their leather jackets adorned with intricate designs, fierce-looking skulls, streaks of flame, and obscure club names that meant nothing to her but whispered of a world far removed from Maplewood Creek. The leader, who Lena would soon learn was called Hammer, extended the crumpled dollar to her. His hand, despite its size and weathered appearance, was surprisingly gentle as her trembling fingers brushed his. Lena tried her best to keep a nervous smile on her face as she poured the lemonade into 2 paper cups, her mind racing. Who were these people? Why had they stopped here? Hammer took a slow sip, letting the cool, tangy drink linger on his tongue. He paused for a beat that felt like an eternity, then nodded in approval. "Not bad, kid," he rumbled, his voice cutting through the heavy silence. "What's your name?" "Lena," she whispered, glancing nervously at Brenda, who stood frozen on the porch. "Well, Lena," Hammer grinned, a genuine warm smile that transformed his rugged face. I think you've got yourself a new customer base." He held up his cup for the others to see. "Best lemonade I've had in years." And just like that, the mood shifted. One of the other bikers, a tall woman with long dark braids spilling from under her helmet, her jacket bearing the name Blade, stepped forward. She dropped a $5 bill on the counter. "I'll take 20 cups for the crew," she said, her voice warm but commanding. Lena blinked. 20 cups, she stammered, grabbing her stack of extra cups and pouring as quickly as her little hands could manage. As the rest of the bikers gathered around, the initial uneasiness melted into something almost festive. They started joking with one another, complimenting Lena's stand and pulling out their wallets not just for lemonade, but for incredibly generous tips. "Do you make this yourself?" Another biker, whose thick southern drawl made Lena smile a little, asked. "Yes, sir," she replied. "My mom helped, but it's my recipe." "Kid's got talent," he said, handing her a crisp $20 bill for his 2 cups. The bikers began sharing stories, laughing loudly and clinking their lemonade cups like they were at a barbecue. Lena couldn't help but relax, their unexpected kindness and humor washing away her initial fear. This was the beautiful, jaw-dropping twist. The very people who seemed designed by stereotype to be a threat were in fact the kindest. It's a powerful lesson in the unveiling of humanity. How quickly our preconceived notions can crumble when confronted with genuine human connection. We're all wired to make quick judgments, to categorize. But often those snap judgments are dead wrong. This moment perfectly illustrates how empathy and warmth can instantly dismantle walls built by appearance. The bikers weren't just buying lemonade, they were investing in a dream, and in doing so, they were dismantling Lena's and the neighborhood's stereotypes about them, one refreshing sip at a time. The powerful roar of their engines had brought not fear, but an unexpected wave of generosity, setting the stage for an even deeper, more emotional revelation. Lena was in a daze, barely keeping up with the rapid-fire requests for lemonade. She was giggling, almost lightheaded from the unexpected joy. Then, without a word, the bikers began passing around a helmet. Not the one Hammer had worn, but a different one, older perhaps, with a faded American flag decal. Coins, clinked bills, crinkled, a cascade of money dropping into the hollow. Lena's eyes grew wider than the Georgia sky. "Here, sweetheart," Blade said, her voice soft, as she handed the helmet back to Lena. "That should cover more than just a zoo trip." Lena peeked inside and gasped. There had to be over $300 in there, far more than she ever imagined earning in one sun-drenched afternoon. Thank you so much," Lena exclaimed, her voice trembling with excitement and overwhelming gratitude. "You earned it, kid," Hammer said, finishing his lemonade. "Hard work deserves support." Just as the moment settled into pure blissful triumph, a shift occurred. One of the bikers, a burly man with a striking eagle tattoo on his arm, grew quiet. His playful energy drained away, replaced by a profound stillness. His gaze softened as he looked at Lena, his rough exterior suddenly giving way to something deeply, unexpectedly emotional. "You remind me of my daughter," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, raw with a pain that Lena, in her 11 years, had never truly heard before. The group fell silent, their earlier laughter replaced by a somber, respectful quiet. Lena tilted her head, her newfound joy tinged with a delicate curiosity. "Your daughter." "The man." Elias nodded slowly, a faraway look in his eyes. "She passed away a few years ago. She was about your age. Loved running little stands just like this. Used to sell cookies and lemonade on weekends." His voice cracked slightly. "Seeing you out here, well, it's like seeing a piece of her again." Lena didn't know what to say. Her mom, Brenda, who had moved closer, now placed a reassuring hand on Lena's shoulder. "I'm so sorry for your loss," Brenda said softly, her voice thick with empathy. Elias gave a bittersweet smile, a ghost of a memory playing across his face. "Thanks. You know, helping her out today feels like honoring her memory. So thank you too." The group stood quietly, a shared moment of raw, unexpected grief and profound human connection hanging in the air. This was the true heart of the twist, the emotional core that explained the bikers' extraordinary generosity. It wasn't just about charity, but about the healing power of connection and empathy. It's easy to dismiss people based on their appearance, to judge a book by its cover. But beneath the leather and the roar, Elias carried a profound heartbreak, a void that Lena's innocent spirit, her simple lemonade stand, had unexpectedly touched. His kindness stemmed from a deep well of personal experience, a universal human desire to find meaning and solace in loss by giving to others. Hammer gently clapped his hands, breaking the spell. "All right, let's not turn this into a cry fest. We've got some more lemonade to buy across town." The laughter returned, a little softer, a little more meaningful, now infused with a renewed sense of connection. As the bikers began to prepare to leave, Elias walked up to Lena. "Keep chasing your dreams, Lena. You've got a good heart. Don't ever lose that." His words, imbued with the weight of his own journey, felt like a silent promise. The roar of the engines was about to return, but this time it would carry not fear, but a profound sense of gratitude and a legacy of unexpected warmth. As the last roar of engines faded into the distance, Lena stood in stunned silence. The helmet, overflowing with cash, sat on her lemonade stand, a tangible testament to an almost unbelievable morning. For a moment, the entire experience felt like a dream too wondrous to be real. Her mom, Brenda, broke the spell with a soft chuckle. "Well, baby," she said, her voice brimming with pride, "I think you just made more in one day than most lemonade stands do in a month." Lena looked up at her mom, her eyes wide. "Do you think they were serious about spreading the word?" Before Brenda could answer, the neighborhood came alive again. The sound of car doors slamming and excited chatter filled the air. A curious crowd gathered at the end of the street, among them Mr. Henderson, the owner of the local hardware store, and some of the kids who had been playing basketball. "Hey, Lena, what's all this about bikers at your stand?" one of them called out. Lena just smiled nervously. "They came by for lemonade and kind of bought a lot." "That's an understatement," Brenda chimed in, gesturing toward the helmet of cash. Word traveled fast in Maplewood Creek. Within an hour, more neighbors arrived, some out of curiosity, others specifically to support Lena's stand after hearing the buzz about her unexpected visitors. The lemonade stand had transformed. It wasn't just a place to buy a drink, it became the bustling center of the community. Customers lined up not just for a taste of what was now jokingly called biker-approved lemonade, but for a piece of the magic. Strangers who rarely spoke to one another were now laughing and chatting as they waited. Parents shared stories about their own kids' entrepreneurial ventures, and even the neighborhood kids pitched in, holding signs at the street corners to direct traffic to the stand. Lena's lemonade had become a symbol of something bigger, proof that small moments of generosity can create powerful ripples of change, bringing people together in unexpected ways. By mid-afternoon, the stand was running low on supplies, but Lena's spirits were soaring. She had already raised far more than her original goal for the Georgia aquarium trip. "I think we're going to need a bigger pitcher," joked Mia, Lena's best friend, who had shown up to help. Just as they worked, a familiar roar echoed down the street. The bikers had returned this time, bringing even more of their crew. They parked their motorcycles in a neat row and waved at the crowd like local celebrities. "We couldn't stay away," Hammer said with a grin, handing Lena a box of freshly baked cookies. "Thought these might go well with your lemonade." The bikers jumped into action, helping manage the line and entertaining the kids who had gathered to gawk at their motorcycles. "I think we just broke the record for the busiest lemonade stand in Georgia," Blade exclaimed, laughing as the day wound down. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the now quieting neighborhood, Lena sat on the front steps of her house. The lemonade stand, folded and packed away, had left behind more than just a clean lawn. It had left a legacy of kindness and connection. Brenda joined her, carrying 2 glasses of lemonade from the last batch. "So how does it feel to have run the most successful lemonade stand Maplewood Creek has ever seen?" Brenda asked, smiling. Lena chuckled, taking a sip. "It feels amazing, but not just because of the money. I didn't know something this small could bring so many people together." Brenda nodded thoughtfully. "That's the power of kindness, Lena. When you give even in small ways, it inspires others to do the same. And when people come together, big things can happen. Lena looked at the helmet of cash beside her, now containing far more than she needed for the aquarium trip. A new idea sparked in her mind, a realization born from Elias's story and the biker's unexpected generosity. "Mom, do you think we could donate some of this maybe to help kids who can't afford school trips or supplies?" Brenda's eyes lit up with pride. "I think that's a wonderful idea, Lena." As the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Lena felt a deep sense of gratitude. "I want to make people feel the way they made me feel today," she whispered. "Like anything is possible." Her lemonade stand, which started as a simple dream, had blossomed into something far greater, a profound lesson in generosity, the strength of community, and the unexpected ways people can change each other's lives. It's a powerful message that even in the toughest times, the human heart, when given the chance, can truly blossom. Her lemonade stand, once just a small dream, had blossomed into something far grander. It wasn't just about the money she'd raised, it was about the profound connections forged, the stereotypes shattered, and the unexpected kindness that had rippled through her entire neighborhood. This story, Lena's story, is a powerful reminder for all of us, especially for every Black child, every single person who has ever been underestimated or judged by appearance. It's a testament to the unshakable spirit found in a simple act of courage, to the unexpected generosity that exists in the world, and to the profound power of community when we choose to see beyond the surface. Because when you put your heart out there, when you stand firm in your truth, and when you dare to dream big, well, sometimes the universe sends you a roar that turns into a song. If Lena's story resonated with you, if it reminded you of a time kindness surprised you, or if it simply filled your heart with hope, then hit that like button right now. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more powerful stories like this one. And most importantly, share this video. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that compassion can break down any barrier and that even the smallest acts of kindness can create the biggest waves of change. In a world that often tries to divide us, let's keep choosing connection. Keep sharing our light, and keep proving that good hearts truly roar the loudest.